Brighten up those dark mornings. Wheeler, Ollie, and Lekter. Mornings at the Cabin.
Monday morning, everybody. Hello. It's Ollie. Live from Studio 1 in downtown Yellowknife. Stalling for time as Lekter takes his seat opposite me. And he's just going to swing those headphones onto that head, swing that microphone across. Now, while he's doing that, I just want to say, hello, Guideway. Good morning.
Hey.
How's it going?
What's going on?
Yeah, not bad.
Whew.
Yeah, faint sense of breathlessness from across the table there. Just
love that nice 3-minute jog to work.
Yeah. Wakes you up at the start of the week.
Yeah, it's not quite Lauren McGinnis, but we can't all be Uncle Lauren, can we?
That's an Instagram feed we can only aspire to. Like the sheer the beauty and chastity of that Instagram feed of Lauren McGinnis is something mere mortals cannot begin. Certainly mere mortals who don't go anywhere and run anywhere. That's a whole different ballgame.
I didn't even think to take a selfie.
No, exactly. Welcome along. So the Snow Castle is dead. Long live next year's Snow Castle.
Ugh. Yeah.
Already.
Poor Snow King.
Poor Snow King. A lot of sympathy for Snow King. I've seen some photos of that Snow Castle. It's in a state.
Yeah.
It's crazy to look at the photos from 3 weeks ago, this beautiful, crisp, brand new snow sculpture, and then the photos from the weekend that show it, frankly, beaten, trounced by the elements, and there's nothing anybody can do.
Yeah, apparently Friday night for the Megan Nash Baby Brian show, I guess Snow King opened it up, as he usually does, but there was a definite tone of sadness to his voice as he kind of told everyone, this might be our last night, so let's enjoy it. But yeah.
Snow King, we love you. Yellowknife loves you. Keep your chin up for next year.
Mornings at the Cabin, the podcast.
Hello, everybody. It is Ollie and Lekter with you. As we mentioned off the top of the show, the Snow Castle is sinking fast and abandoned for the season. First time in its 24-year history that it's wrapped things up before the end of March. So it's a relatively sad morning. I think a lot of people are quite depressed about that. Probably mostly the people who built the thing and put so much effort into it and now have to consign it to history a week early. It's a sad time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's still a couple shows that were yet to happen, too. I mean, Ray Spoon was supposed to be here, I think, on Thursday night. A couple other shows, too. So it's sad, too, that, potentially people that were excited about coming up to Yellowknife and not only putting on a show, but putting on a show inside a really cool snow castle don't get to do that now. One
of the potential solutions for the future being discussed is, do they move it earlier? Do you go to February? Do you say, okay, maybe March is starting to be pushing it too far in this changing world that we live in.
Right.
We're going to go February instead. What do you think?
It's kind of tough because, I mean, obviously 24 years of history. As far as I know, it's always been March 1st or the first Saturday in March is when it opens. I don't know if, maybe that was different in year one, Snow King 1. Who knows?
Snow King 1 shot for June, and it just didn't really work out. And they went back to the drawing board. Yep.
I'm sure some people know, but I don't know if Snow King is in the mood to answer questions from the media today, so we'll leave this at speculation as to what Snow King 1 was like. But it's such a nice starting point, and it's the whole month. It would kind of be a shame to move it earlier, which sounds silly because it's just a trivial, time frame sort of thing. But yeah, it's really cool having March be like the cool month here in winter, the month where all the fun stuff happens. I mean, it'd be nice to jazz up February with something, I guess, but...
True. It's interesting for me. I find myself on a side I wouldn't necessarily expect to be on because I'm the first person to say, yes, clearly climate change is a thing.
Right.
There's so much empirical evidence for the fact that the climate is changing. Even in Yellowknife in the Northwest Territories, just go and look at the data from the last 60, 70 years. You can see that the city is gradually warming up. And it happens over a long period of time, but you can see that that's the trend.
Right.
But then you get to March. Yeah, we've had one March that was clearly an abnormality, right, so far.
Right.
Incredibly warm for the first time. They have to close the thing down.
Mm-hmm.
Does it mean every March from now on is going to be like that? I don't think so.
I don't think so. No, and the quote-unquote, air quotes, argument around this has been, well, yeah, this is just one March. Last March, this time it was minus 35, which is true. It was very cold. And I mean, we've had mild Marches since we've been here.
Yep.
I've been here for just over 5 years. You've been here for about the same,
Yep.
more or less. Yeah, we've seen some pretty mild Marches, and then it's gotten cold enough so that they haven't had to shut down the snow castle early. But
yeah, certainly.
Can you count on that? You got to look at where the trends are going, and yeah, like next March might be minus 30 until March 31st.
Yeah, within the last 5 years of me being here, I have vivid memories of standing at a Long John Jamboree at the end of March, having my face ripped off by about minus 35.
Yeah.
That is within the past 5 years, because I haven't been here any longer than that.
I thought I was going to die my first Long John Jamboree because I was woefully unprepared.
Right. So that is in very recent memory.
Yeah.
And also, February this year was freezing.
It was brutal.
It was, even by Yellowknife February standards, it was on average 3 degrees colder a day than a normal February.
Yeah.
So here we all are in our world of extremes. Some months are super warm, some months are super cold. I'm not sure it's a massive help to the Snow King to end up in a month where it is so brutally cold that nobody really wants to be outside in it.
They're already working through all that building the thing.
It's such a hard thing to get right.
Yeah.
Either it's super cold, which is great for the facility, but terrible for the poor human beings trying to enjoy it.
Right.
Or it's really nice and warm, which is great for the human beings, but terrible for the facility.
Yeah.
So you kind of need that sweet spot of like minus 10 to minus 25.
Mm-hmm.
Cannot believe that I've just called that a sweet spot. But that you need to be able to guarantee that. And I'm not sure that... I think the problem with the fact that the climate is changing is that we're more inclined to get very, very cold or very, very warm instead of ordinary.
Right.
When Snow King probably needs ordinary to make it a reliable thing.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I not being a snow architect or one of the king's men myself, I assume the biggest issue is the overflow from when it gets mild enough that the lake starts to melt and water starts to come up. And I assume that causes most of the issues. I could be wrong. It could be more of a structural thing from the sun beating down on the top of the snow castle, and the concern being, or maybe it's equal concern of all things, that it's melting in general. This is becoming less safe by the day. But I wonder if a possible solution is taking the castle off the lake.
Oh, okay.
Which sounds
steady now,
like a terrible idea. I know.
Where are you going with this?
Well, I mean, you potentially, if this is part of the problem, that the lake that it is on is becoming, soft and watery too fast, you could potentially alleviate that by building the snow castle on land.
Where?
No. Well, that's a good question too. There's not a whole lot of open space.
I mean, the first place I thought was Fritz Field. Sticking on the ballparks.
Yeah, Fritz Field might be a good one.
I suspect there are probably a lot of snow castle architects and engineers listening to this thinking, you guys do not understand how we built this castle.
And you're right.
And you're right, we don't.
We're just trying to help, okay?
This is all we've got. We're just saying, build it on. It's still snowy on land. We can build the castle on land. That'll solve the problem. Now, Long John Jamboree, just quickly, coming up this weekend. Mm-hmm. We are expecting an announcement from them later on today. I would venture to suggest that while we don't know for sure that announcement yet, it may not be too far from the solution we've just discussed.
Right.
So stay tuned for that. I am told the Jamboree will go ahead.
Okay.
It's just a case of how.
Mornings at the Cabin, the podcast, where we cut out all the great music and you're left with the rest.
Yesterday, there was an incident at the dentist.
Oh, geez.
Now, normally when there's an incident at the dentist, that's a little concerning, especially for me. Mm-hmm. There's a reason I did not go to the dentist for a very, very long time. However, this time around, I actually went there for the purpose of I've become an evangelist, Lekter. Become a dental evangelist. I'm now preaching the good word of dentistry. It is Oral Health Month coming up next month. And so we went on down to Birchwood on Sunday to film a little promo video for that.
Okay.
With Sasha, who is my dental hygienist.
Yes.
Who is familiar to listeners of the show for having one of the more interesting approaches to dating, in as much as when she first moved to Yellowknife a couple of months ago, and we covered this at length on the show not so long ago. When Sasha first moved to Yellowknife a couple of months ago, She was looking for somewhere to stay. She messaged a guy about a room that was being advertised online, and he said words to the effect of, sorry, it's not really available anymore unless you're a really hot woman. Which, yeah, cue groans from many, many people who would wish that society was slightly more developed, maybe in the 21st century.
Right.
However, Sasha replied to that with, why, yes, I am a hot woman. And now the two are like best of buds. And
if the shoe fits.
Yeah, so that was quite the turnaround. That message actually led to a date occurring.
Yeah.
And so we went. Sasha is now our favorite dental hygienist for that obvious reason. And so we went on down to film yesterday afternoon, and it was great, good fun. Yeah, I was back in the whole dentist chair and like,
right.
having a conversation with her while like mocking up the whole like dental exam kind of thing. And we left after about half an hour. Sasha took us out to the front door again, let us out, said, thanks for coming and everything, the door shut, and she was locked out.
Oh, no.
She'd left, it's one of those card swipe things.
Right.
She'd left her pass in the building, phone in the building, keys to her house in the building, money in the building, so just wearing her dental hygienist's overalls locked in the foyer of the building. So if she leaves the building through the front door,
right,
then that's going to close behind her and lock her out completely in the cold. So it's either leave and get locked out and then try to find help, or stay and just await rescue from someone who happens to be coming by. But no one's going to come by because it's a Sunday and the dental surgery's closed.
Right.
So
you did her a solid.
I was there with her, and I had my phone, so we tried calling the emergency number on the Birchwood website, but that just needed you to leave a message. So that wasn't working.
Okay.
Then we tried a couple of other people who we thought might be able to help, but we couldn't get through to them either. And so about 40 minutes went by, and then we realized, let's try putting a message on the Cabin Radio Facebook page. So
because she's not already embarrassed enough.
Right. I mean, we've already told the whole Doug story about her first date and the whole like, unless you're a hot woman. Oh, I am a hot woman. We told that story. So we've already established Sasha's character. There's nothing more we can do to that. So I took a photo of her basically almost in tears of laughter and embarrassment of being locked out of her own workplace on a Sunday. Threw that on Facebook like the nice man I am, and just explained to Yellowknife the situation. I said, Yellowknife, we need your help. Here's Sasha. She's locked out of Birchwood. If you happen to know anybody who works at Birchwood, please give them a nudge. Sasha here would love to be reunited with everything she needs to live.
It kind of looked like half embarrassment and laughter and panic and half, I need to cover my face because this is really embarrassing.
Yeah, there was a lot going on. And this is before she noticed the spider above the door. About 10 minutes after that photo, she noticed there was a spider above the door she needed to get back through. And then she just stayed on the other side of the foyer and refused to move.
Oh, my God.
So things began to escalate quite quickly. I am proud to say that Yellowknife had a 21-minute response time to this.
Not bad.
Within 22 minutes of posting that message on Facebook, the dentist, Dr. Gohill, turned up at the front door with the key to let Sasha in. He said his phone had been ringing off the hook with people saying, have you seen Cabin Radio this afternoon? Have you seen what's happening to Sasha?
He's like, have I seen what? Yeah. What are you talking about?
Exactly. So he had that look of a man who's faintly exasperated. He sort of looked at me like, why did you think this was a good idea? I was like, well, it's like,
first of all, why are you all here in my office? I didn't approve any of this.
Yeah. Why are you here? And why are you it's essentially inciting a crowd to telephone me? Well.
And why are you spooking my pet spider? He was sleeping nicely, and now...
Yeah, Dr. Gohill had a few issues, but we got Sasha back in safely, and you can all look forward to a little Oral Health Month treat.
Lovely.
Yeah, next month is Oral Health Month. Make sure you go and say hello to your favorite neighborhood hygienist over the next few weeks to celebrate Oral Health Month with them, and maybe remind them of some basic tips around basic building etiquette and taking your keys with you.
I could actually sympathize with Sasha on this one. I had a very similar situation occur, I believe it was last week. Just like, last thing before I went to bed, was taking the garbage out. So went out the back door. Didn't, again, same as Sasha, didn't have any keys on me, didn't have my phone on me, didn't have anything on me. The back door of our building locks if it closes. It just automatically locks. So I think it was like a particularly awkward piece of garbage. And so I was struggling to kind of swing it out the door, and the door, it slipped off my foot and shut behind me. And I was like, oh no. Oh, please tell me I didn't lock the front door. So threw the garbage in, went around the building to the other side, punched our door code in, went upstairs. It was just like, oh, this is the moment of truth. Grabbed the handle, locked. I was like, oh no. So Nicole was already asleep.
Oh, no.
And I didn't know how asleep. So it's like, well, hopefully she's not having a good sound sleep because I'm about to ruin it. Just banged on the door as loud as I could. The dogs all came to the door, and luckily she came too. I thought she was going to be mad, but she was just like, oh, I'm so sorry. I was like, why are you sorry? The idiot who locked myself out.
I mean, that could have been anybody. It could have been any mad individual hammering on her door. I personally would have just tried to go back to bed. Don't know who
I wouldn't have let you, Ollie.
Don't know who that moron is banging on my door, but it is late, and I got places to be. I am falling asleep.
Next would have been Snowball at the window. Oh, I wouldn't have quit.
Then the screaming. Yep. Well, Sasha, we were proud to play a small part in liberating you from the foyer, even though we were the ones that invited you to the building on a Sunday in the first place. So really, we were to blame.
It happened, Sasha. I get it.
Cabin Radio's morning show podcast. All the best chat, none of the embarrassing mistakes.
Lekter, last week, you and Jesse were here in studio. I was in Fort Simpson, and we had a little discussion about a technological development that maybe not everybody enjoys, the advent of the self-checkout.
Yeah. Wanted to do a follow-up on this, because we had some fun with it on the air. Afterwards, actually got some bit of negative response. Even my own mother sent me a text message. And I mean, we weren't, we were talking about self-checkout and the fact that there was a CBC article that talked about several people who were, I can't remember what store it was, but basically they felt like they were being forced to use self-checkout. I'm not sure if the human cashiers happened to be on lunch break maybe when they were there, but either way, they were given the impression that self-checkout was their only option, and a lot of people really don't like self-checkout. And after we talked about it, and we had some fun with it on the air, started to realize just how many people really don't like self-checkout. Yes, my own mom sent me a text message, and she was like, I hate self-checkout. And basically it was like, how could you make fun of these people? You are a monster. Self-checkout is the worst thing that has ever happened to human beings. And get your story straight, Letkeman, because I don't like self-checkout, and I'm your mother. Therefore, I am correct.
So now that you've been suitably chastised,
yes,
for the purposes of our conversation, you take your mother's point of view here and tell us what is the issue with self-checkout. Why is your mother so anti-progress?
Well, it's funny because as we talked about it on the air, I feel like we started discovering how much we ourselves, Jesse and I, hated self-checkout. There's the whole thing about the bag it yourself, and half the time you put the item in the bag and then the voice tells you put item in bag, and you're like, the item's in the bag. Like, what more do you want me to do? And then you're standing there just like lifting up and putting it back down into the bag like some kind of robot until the voice is satisfied that you have sufficiently put the thing in the bag 15 times over. And it's like, okay, we can move on to the next item.
Okay, so essentially it's a reluctance to have to satisfy robot masters earlier than expected. Yeah, because in another
faulty robot masters.
Okay.
If they were perfect, which robots should be?
I see.
Let's be honest.
I see.
They're not human. They don't need to make human mistakes.
But they're programmed by humans. It'll be the ones programmed by robots later on, like third or fourth generation. Once enough generations of robots have had their own shot at programming things, those are the ones you want to watch out for. Round about the year,
those ones will be evil for sure.
Round about the year 2100, a self-checkout is going to be the least of anybody's worries. Having said that, before World War IV erupts with the robot generation, this may be an unpopular opinion. I don't mind having one of those. I love self-checkouts.
You monster.
I know. They are the best. Not because I want to put people out of work. I can hear the pitchforks being sharpened. Like, I don't want anyone to lose their job over one. I would far prefer someone has a job than a self-checkout has a job.
Right.
But at the same time, it solves two key problems for me.
Uh-huh.
One is small talk. No good at it.
Right.
Don't like it.
Right.
Can't abide it. I freeze up a little bit and just sound abrupt and rude. I know it's so hard to imagine.
That's a little presumptuous, though, because that presumes that the checkout person actually wants to have a conversation with you.
And I'm sure they don't.
They're exhausted, Ollie. They've been making small talk with people all day. You have to do it once, and you can't do it.
But they're often they're told to do it, right? Because the whole point is to give the customer a nice experience and be friendly to the customer. I get it.
But if it's a 16-year-old kid, they don't care.
In the
Don't
same
wanna
way
talk
that
to
you step into any store in Canada and the first thing people swarming, can I help you with anything? No, if I want to help, I'll come and ask.
Oh, yeah.
I know where to find you. I'm not blind.
Ooh, that just gave me a new idea. Automatic. No, that's a terrible idea.
No,
We're not going to go
Don't automate the entire workforce of Canada in this break, Scott. That's not how we're going to get out of this alive. All right, so the small talk is one thing. The other thing is, I guess you would call this bagging delay panic syndrome.
Oh, okay.
Which is something I've suffered from my whole life.
Right.
Whereby you go on a grocery shop and you unload your cart at the front end onto the conveyor belt.
Right.
And you hope against all hope that someone with a whole bunch of groceries is ahead of you and they're going to take their time. Because if you're on your own, you need to be able to unload your cart fully and then be prepped to start bagging.
Yes.
Before the cashier starts scanning your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The worst thing that can happen is an empty line, because then you get there and you start unloading the stuff and they are just straight away, boop, boop, boop. No, for the love of God, stop. Because now there are people backing up behind you. You're still unloading your cart. All the groceries are piling up at the other end. She scanned almost everything. You haven't even started bagging. Then you run through with the cart. You get the cart into the right position. You empty all the bags. They got 5 bags. They're all packed inside the first bag. And, oh, my God. Get them out there like Russian dolls. You got to open the bag. You start throwing the first produce into the bag. They're going any which way. It's like playing Tetris with your soul. You're grabbing a cod and throwing it in there.
Okay.
Box of cereal comes on. You're like, well, how's that supposed to fit? Oh, cramming the cereal down the side. And meanwhile, all these people are waiting. The cashier's drumming their fingers because there's this massive pile-up of food.
Right.
There's nowhere for them to continue putting the rest of your food because you haven't bagged enough of it. The sweat starts to drip into your fresh produce.
My God.
This is what I'm telling you. This is the thing. And so it's such a relief to go to a self-checkout and have control of your destiny. And be able to get there one item at a time, boop,
right,
into a bag. Breathe. Second item, boop, into a bag. Right? No one can touch me in my own little bubble of satisfaction.
That's true. Because they've got 3 other people they can glare at if you're going too slow.
Right. Yeah,
potentially.
Exactly. So you can glare at, it's like going to the post office or something. There's always a few different windows.
Yes.
You can objectively hate any one of several rather than pinning all the blame on one.
The hate is spread.
Yeah, exactly. That's what
focused.
I essentially, what I'm advocating for is a form of hate communism.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I see. You either need one of 2 things. You need to go grocery shopping on the days that there is a student group that is offering to bag.
Yeah, although
that is a lifesaver.
Okay, tell me the second thing first. I want to come back to that.
Okay. The second thing is you need a grocery shopping partner. You need to go grocery shopping with someone because then one person can do the bagging, the other person can pay for it, and maybe you can trade off or something or just square up with each other after. It's a lifesaver.
So your second recommendation there is essentially be attractive to other people, which thanks.
Or just be friendly.
Lekter.
It could be platonic.
Jeez,
come on.
Wow, there's some advice for a morning show. All right, thanks. Yeah,
just a shopping partner, nothing else.
Okay, yeah, I'll see how that goes on shopping Tinder. In terms of like young people offering their bagging services. That is a great thing, and I love it when that happens, and I'm always the first one. I will donate a surprisingly large amount of money to any cause when I see those people hovering. Right. That is like a lifesaver. Yeah. However, there is an art to making sure that you go down an aisle with someone who looks like they know what they're doing parked at the end of it. In an ideal world, you want to like have that group of, it's usually like a volleyball team or something, right? They're all like down there waiting to bag stuff.
Yeah.
But if you look closely and you're sharp-eyed enough, a couple of the aisles will have the parents doing it.
Yes, absolutely.
And they're the ones who actually know how to bag groceries. They're the ones you want. So you go down those aisles. And
they're having no fun, so they're getting stuff done.
Yeah, and they're a functional adult, so they know, like, they've done this. This is not their first rodeo. There is the potential otherwise of getting, and I mean this in the nicest possible way, a couple of very well-meaning 11-year-olds who are just, like, there may be a little more chaos than order to the bagging strategy. And, you just see things happen that you hadn't necessarily anticipated from a bagging process.
Right.
So I think as long as you are sufficiently strategic, there is a lot to be said. And like I said, I'm the first person to support anyone who will help me. Anyone who will help me with bagging.
Okay.
Long live the robot revolution.
So now that we've painted you as the villain, the panicked villain in this story.
Not much of a villain, really. Really relatively easily overcome, somewhat neurotic, depressed villain, yep.
So there was a CBC article that came out the other day kind of doing a follow-up on this whole self-checkout thing that kind of made me think about it differently. I was kind of laughing off the negative feedback we got a little bit. It's like, you're making a big deal out of nothing. But several Loblaws employees now have come out and say that they're being pressured by management to force customers to use self-checkout. It is driven by a company quest to get more people using the machines. What is driving that quest? I don't know. But, quote, they're trying to get us to force customers to go to self-checkout, said a cashier at a Shoppers Drug Mart in Ontario. They've made cashiers feel like if they don't do this, something bad is going to happen. Dun, dun, dun.
Well, now don't I feel like the jerk?
As you should. So, I mean, self-checkout, I'm kind of neither here nor there about it. I don't prefer to use it. I do prefer to use a actual person to check out my items for me. But I'm not against self-checkout. Because I know there are people like you who actually do prefer self-checkout.
Self-checkout, also great for not being judged for buying the same terrible food.
There you go. Also great for not being judged.
Especially gas stations in the UK and little you got to service stations in the UK, they got little food court kind of things.
Right.
And if you just want to grab the same terrible food that you always want to eat, if you have to go up in front of a human being for the third time that week with the same stuff, you're just you hope it's somewhat different on shift, so you can just they won't have any memory of the fact that you were in here yesterday buying the same terrible.
Boy, you really love Cheese Whiz, don't you?
Yeah, you understand what I mean.
All right.
Self-checkout, there's no judgment. If the self-checkout, as you scan stuff in, went boop, oh really? then I would be immediately back on the side of human beings.
Haven't you had enough?
Can you imagine? That's probably where we're going. That's probably the end game here, is robots who look at, have you analyzed the calorific content of your meal, Oliver? Yes, I have, and I just need 9 tubs of Ben & Jerry's tonight, all right?
The Mornings at the Cabin podcast was recorded before a sort of live, thankfully not in the studio, audience.
Corinne, the intern, has walked into the studio. Morning, Corinne.
Hello.
How was dog sledding yesterday? Was that your first ever dog sledding experience?
Yes, it was.
And did they treat you well?
They did. They treated me very well.
Okay, what did you learn about dog sledding that you did not expect to learn? Excellent. Good. Thanks, Corinne.
Yeah. Basically, pretty self-explanatory.
Okay, I suppose they're dogs. They go sledding.
Behind a dog.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
It was as expected. It was as billed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did not pull the dogs pulled you. It was all very standard. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. But you had a bunch of fun out of that. You shot some GoPro footage as well. We're going to take a look at that a little bit later on.
Yes.
And see what we got out of that as well. All right. Good morning, everybody. So, no Mr. Wheeler in the studio this morning, which is great. It allows us to talk about him. We have a contest coming up, and I can't tell you anything really about this yet, except to say that this summer we're going to do something huge, and you're going to be interested. That's as far as I can go.
How huge?
Huge.
Huge?
Huge.
Okay.
That's as far as I can go. I can't tell you anymore.
So huge that I have to come back?
You may want to come back.
Okay.
It may prove financially worth your while to come back. That's as much as I will say.
Okay.
That is as much as I will say. So now you know. All right, that gives you a little bit of a clue. One other thing that I can reveal about this is it requires that we purchase something for Jessie. And without giving too much away, it involves sequence.
Sequence?
Yes.
Okay. You're slowly revealing more.
I'm slowly revealing more. I honestly feel like that's about as far as I can go. It has now been ordered.
Okay.
So the reason I bring this up is there was a cryptic email chain.
There was, yes.
Internally here at Cabin Radio about said item.
Mm-hmm.
You, Lekter, were somewhat confused because you were in the email chain, but
not on
the
email.
Exactly. You were aware that there was this email chain, but you were not in it. So
Caught in a crossfire.
you did not get to see the item in question.
No.
Only I and one other human being. No, two other human beings. There are 3 people in the world that know what is going to happen with this outfit over the next 4 months. All I can tell you is it is extraordinarily exciting.
Okay.
And it's going to end in quite bombastic fashion.
Ooh, I love bombastic fashions.
If there's nothing we do, well, if there's one thing we do very well here at Cabin Radio, it's bombast.
Bombastia.
Yeah, love a little bit of bombast. So, yeah, I'm very excited. I would say in about a month's time, you will start to see things around Yellowknife that will, A, clue you in a little bit more as to what's happening,
All right.
and B, afford you some sort of glimpse of the sequined garment. So just be on your guard.
Interesting.
But
You're not turning Jesse into a giant mascot, are you?
I mean, of a sort. I mean, not in the sort of like, he's not going to have to like don the head of a 9-foot panda bear and then run around a track as sort of representing a local sports team. Although now that I say those words out loud, I would like to see if I can make that happen.
Well, we've talked about how much we like panda bears. They're so comfy and cuddly, and they just tell you everything you want to hear.
That's
Until
sounds a lot like Jesse.
Yeah, panda
Yeah.
bear.
Yeah, all right. I mean, okay, so we could look at that, Corinne. If you, as the intern, would like to suggest to Mr. Wheeler that he become a local mascot for a local sports association, and you're prepared to like walk him through the steps required and find him an appropriate outfit, I'm sure he'd be thrilled to get on board with that. As knowing Jesse as I do, Lekter, don't you think that he'd be the first to say yes, I will do that?
Oh, he loves being told to dress up in ridiculous costumes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
If there's one thing about Jesse that we both know is fact, it's that he loves being told to dress up in ridiculous outfits, especially if he's not really given a choice.
The more ridiculous, the better.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd say we'll get you on the phone to him after the show, and we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
And if you're still employed by us come Tuesday morning, we can come and have a chat by that. But
If I'm not on a plane by Saturday.
Well, yeah. No, he'll take that well. So okay. So we're not going to go down that road with this particular thing. We're not going to make him wear a mascot outfit, but there may be some tangential similarities, and all shall be revealed in the weeks ahead. All I'm going to tell you right now, Cabin Radio listener, is this is incredibly exciting. We're going to do a very cool thing this summer, and it's going to involve some sequins.
Thanks for listening. Check out more from the show at cabinradio.ca.